Chris Demm just told me, see if you think this describes anybody. These are things likable people never do. Oh, he's got it. He's got the whole list right here. Okay. Now, he just hit me with this. Okay. Now, you tell me, Biggie. All right. You know how I'm always saying, I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
Yeah. You say it the most of all.
I'm likable. I'm likable.
Well,
I always say,
you say it.
I'm a nice guy. Here are 10 things likable people never do. Are you ready?
10.
10 things that likable people never do.
Okay.
Blame others.
Out.
Oh, man.
Poor Biggie.
I don't like that though. Because if it's not my fault,
I should get.
I'm going to tell people that. I'm not taking the blame for someone else. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, if it's not your fault,
Yeah.
if somebody really screws something up,
Yes.
you're telling me to be likable, I have to go, well, that's on me. Even if like it was not like, you're working the Hoover Dam.
All right.
All right, there's 2 of y'all, and you're standing there, you're doing your job just fine, you're monitoring everything.
Yeah.
Well, the guy you're working with just goes over and accidentally turns off switch 3,
Yeah.
which opens the dam.
Okay. Right.
Okay?
We've just lost water for a generation.
Yeah, exactly.
We flooded everybody downstream.
Yeah. And you're telling me that I have to stand there with him and be like, that's on both of us. No. I have an issue right there with that one. It's not on both of us.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You may be right, but you're not likable.
Well, all right.
But I'm not going to take
okay.
up for this guy who just destroyed a generation.
Well, you know who does that? Like on a team, like coaches. If a football player throws 4 interceptions and it's obviously awful, a lot of times a coach will say, we have to get better. That's on me. It starts with preparation.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you'd never, but really,
Yeah.
come on. This guy just threw 4 interceptions, right? Okay.
The Boston Celtics are going through it right now.
Right.
It's the coach.
Of course it's the coach. Everybody's
It's the new coach.
Right.
Even the players, even Marcus Smart, who's been a Celtic forever, is like, it ain't us. It's him.
He's not very
That's a
likable.
blamer.
He's not very likable. That's
Doesn't
a
sound
blamer.
likable.
You can't say.
You can be right,
But he's
but
not.
that doesn't make you likable.
He's not likable. Okay. These are 10 things likable people never do. Try to control situations and other people. Oh, wow.
Disagree with that, too.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes you got to
Sometimes you got to.
Sometimes you got to take control. There's no worse group project where everyone's like, well, what do you think? What do you think? Somebody step up.
A lot of times leaders who do things like that are disliked, by half the people. Look at presidents. They're disliked by half the people. They're strong leaders in many cases. I mean, they are president. They get there. But half the country hates their guts.
You also heard stories about people who are, quote, natural leaders, who people gravitate toward naturally.
Yes, that's right. And controlling is a little different than leading. I mean, when you try to control somebody, that's a different thing. Things likable people never do. Try to impress others. That's all I do. That's all I do is try to go out of my way to try to please and impress.
Putting on weight, taking off weight, playing pickleball.
Exactly.
Having a drink with the fellas. Taking tongue drops.
I really miss those tongue drops. I really I need those tongue drops. Right there is like, oh, no. Okay. Cling tightly to what they know, never looking at the other side of things.
Okay, I'll kind of give them that one.
All right.
I'll give them that one.
Okay, fine. I just hold on to what you have. Don't let go at any cost.
Have you ever uttered the phrase, you make a good point?
No, God, no. No, what? No. No,
I never thought of it like that.
No, I would never.
No.
Let's see. Things likable people never do. Interrupt others. All right, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
That's far and away rude.
Yeah, if you just keep interrupting.
I'll tell you, I am a bad interrupter.
You do that.
I have been my whole life, and I try to be conscious of it, but
I don't notice it.
Yeah, I am outside of here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
The real you?
And even here,
Well,
sometimes.
I control you.
Yes, that's right.
That's true. You can turn my mic off.
What about with your lady friend, Biggie?
Yeah, sure, I am. I'm bad about it.
Interrupt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, my wife was saying something. I think it was my wife. Sometimes I confuse y'all, but she was saying something to my daughter, and she was right in the middle of it. I just started talking about something else entirely, and she said, "I'm not done," and I said, "Oh, what?" I thought you were done. I just completely
heard a pause.
Yeah.
Just because somebody pauses doesn't mean they're done.
Yeah.
I have to learn that.
Good lesson.
Yeah, if she just took a brief pause, and I said, well, what else happened in school today? And she's like, I was making a point. This happened yesterday. And I said, oh, I didn't even know. I thought you were done. Mm-hmm. Remember when Jerry told me that REM story? Do you remember that? You weren't there. Were you there?
I've heard about it.
Yeah. Well, it was on the beach. Now, I had an edible.
Okay.
Let's be really open and honest about this. I had an edible, and I was standing there with 3 or 4 other guys. I was laying, actually. 3 or 4 other guys were standing. And my friend Jerry was telling a story about REM. Who is it? Who's the drummer for REM?
The drummer is Bill Berry.
He met him. Okay, he met Bill Berry. So he starts by saying, have I told you about the time I met Bill Berry? He said to somebody else, he's like, Bill Berry. And then I started talking, and I was like, what's your favorite 5 movies of all time? And he goes, well, I was telling my Bill Berry story, and I said, oh, I thought you were done. He literally said like 4 words. He's like, did I ever tell you about the time I met Bill Berry?
I thought that was the story.
That's right. Interrupt. You don't interrupt if you're a nice person. This is like a description of me, and I'm supposed to be not. You never whine. No whining. If you're, oh, yeah. I'm not going to.
I don't agree with that either. I think sometimes. And now, see, it's like if anyone starts to complain, someone's around like, oh, you're whining.
Snowflake.
Well, yeah. Snowflake. And I'm like, no, I think you're allowed to still complain about things.
Yeah. It's not everything's perfect.
But if it's a constant drumbeat and it never really changes.
Sure.
If you whine about stuff all the time, then nobody takes you seriously.
Nobody hears you.
Nobody takes you seriously. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's something about I don't want to say my wife. I know she's not a whiner. Okay, she's not a whiner. But what happens sometimes is she is we kind of good cop, bad cop our kids. She's the bad cop, Mm-hmm. And I'm the good cop. I'm fairly likable there
in the home.
In the home. But she's the disciplinarian and all that. But she yells a lot. Okay. I mean, she will, she'll get on to him quite a bit. Well, when I get
about important things, small things,
big things, whatever, Well, when she gets mad, they just kind of like, all right, go on about. Now, on the rare occasions that I get mad, they snap too. And she says, why is it they listen to you but not to me? And I said, it's because you're constantly yelling at them. It's like they've heard it so many times. Yeah. It's like, they know. When I get mad, it's all, okay, they know something now, something's up. Because I just mostly sit there and let it go by. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But that's also a little bit, I should be criticized for that because I just sit there and let it go by.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I had a little argument this weekend and stemmed from a comment that I shouldn't have made. Yeah. Where I basically insinuated that she whines a lot.
Oh, okay. Do you think she whines a lot?
Well, my comment was, do you ever have a good day?
Oof. Did she gather her belongings and walk out?
Yeah, I was pretty much.
I'm sensing more walkouts from this young lady.
Yes, well, do you ever?
Last week there was the parking debacle.
Do you ever have a good day?
I meant it in the nicest.
Go sleep at your place.
Right.
I meant it in the nicest way possible.
Do you ever have a good day? Yeah. What's good about your life? Yes,
right. Because there was a lot of complaining.
I see.
And she said, as my partner, I should be able to complain to you without
Sometimes people
comments.
Need to vent. Sometimes people need to be heard.
Yes.
Okay, she needed to be heard, but if it's a constant drumbeat every single day, I guess it gets old for
the listener,
the other party. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, that's true. Now, I do. My wife is a great sounding board where I can vent. And sometimes I'll say, let me just vent about a few things, and then blah, 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 off on like that. Okay, you probably shouldn't say that. That's
that was a lesson learned.
These are things that incredibly likable people never do. Blame others, control people, try to impress, cling tightly to what they know, interrupt, whine, criticize others. All right, I can do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually, though, behind their back.
You're good about that, not to their face.
In my defense, I talk a lot.
Never to the face.
Never to the face. And I always say people people will say something like, say it to my face. I was like, why would I do that? That'll insult you.
That's hurtful.
I'm not going to do that.
You've done it in a few meeting settings, and it's giving you a reputation around the building, and
that's right.
People avoid you.
Two hump grump.
Oh, today's a day for you. It's meeting day.
Today's meeting day.
And no drops?
God, I'm off my drops.
You're going to get your drops.
I better run to the car and get some drops if I'm going to go into that meeting. Are you kidding? Preach. You should never preach if you're like, they don't preach. Likable people, you know.
Yeah.
This is the way it should be. This is the way it should be. Now, a lot of these have applied to me. This one may, though, hit right.
Is this number 9?
It's number 9.
Yeah.
You circled this one. You put
I did.
it after this. Live in the past.
Do you know what I miss? Wow.
I know.
Wow.
That's right. That is right.
Everybody's just a bullseye right to the head. I mean, that's it. Live in the past. All I do.
That's your favorite place.
Watch old TV, watch old movies, listen to old music.
Tell young people they don't understand how things used to be better.
Exactly. Live in the past. I heard someone say something interesting. Now, I disagreed with it, but this is probably a good rule of thumb. You can look at the past. Don't stare at the past. You know?
I like that.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. You can look at it. It's nice to, it used to be this way. But don't be there too long, basically. Ouch. What can you say?
That stings.
That one does.
Yeah, and certainly you can remember things, but if you're in a work setting or a social setting and you're constantly bringing it up, that makes you unlikable.
That's right. When you're constantly, we used to do it this way and it was better. Most of the time you remember things more fondly than they really were.
Of course.
Sometimes I think to myself, now how great were things really? You know, when I was in that time, did I think this is fantastic? You don't, you know, you don't at the time think, this was great. So you shouldn't live in the past if you're likable. It's why people like Chris Demm so much more than they like me. Yesterday, guy from HR, Barry, you had already left. Okay. You had gone for the day. I was still sitting in the office. So Barry comes in and goes, oh, no. And I said, what happened? He goes, Chris Demm already left. And I said, yeah, he's gone. He goes, man, I was going to play music trivia with him.
Oh.
And I said, well, I'm sitting here. He goes, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Just not the same?
Don't you?
No, just not.
You want to ask me?
Yeah, I said, you can ask me either. Oh, man, it's Chris Demm already gone. I was going to stump.
I had one.
Yeah, he's like, I got one up my sleeve. I'm going to stump him on music trivia, so you can get ready for that today.
Okay.
And finally, likable people, don't let fear hold them back. I think I'm guilty of that. I think a lot of people are guilty of that, though.
Yeah, it's the biggest motivator there is.
I just read a very interesting study, a theory about the game show Jeopardy. And I really found this interesting. Dave would be into this because he likes Jeopardy. It's about fear holding you back. Predominantly, the winners on Jeopardy, and I didn't even realize this is what the article is saying, the all-time great winners and the ones who have done the best and made the most money are men. It's men over women, even though there have been as many female contestants as there have been men. And the woman who wrote this article had two theories on it. One is men will take more risks. So when they get daily doubles, they bet higher, and it pays off. And you know, James Holzhauer, who's one of the all-time great champions, he really
made enormous.
Yeah, I mean, he would go all in.
He's the biggest bettor I think they ever had.
I mean, and you'd see it and go, holy cow. Well, apparently men, when they hit the daily doubles on Jeopardy, bet higher than women because we tend to take more chances. And we don't think about risk as much. You know, that's why men probably have more car accidents.
Or they die more.
All those things.
Die early.
We are more willing to take the risk. Then her other theory was that, and I ran this by my wife, and she agreed with it, that women who go through pregnancy, you're in a fog for the rest of your life.
What's that? The rest of your
life. The rest of your life, you never quite get back to where you were.
I could see that.
You can't quite think as quickly.
I don't know about that theory.
That's what she said. She said, but my theory is that once you go through pregnancy, that you still can function, but you're not quite as fast as you ever have been. It's like going through, my wife swears she still has COVID fog. She's had COVID one time. I've had it twice. She swears that now things don't come to her as quickly. You know, it just as soon as that was over. And this woman in the article said going through pregnancy is like that. At the end of it, pregnant women even say that they have pregnancy brain. They forget things all the time. She said it never really goes away, and you're a half a tick slower than you used to be, and that's why more men win on Jeopardy. My wife agreed with it. She said she's never quite been the same. Plus, you not only have the pregnancy, you got to raise the kids too. Then they beat.
That's what I was going to say. Is it the tiredness and the constant?
Yeah.
It does seem like an easy check though to see how many grand champions have been moms.
Right, over women who have not been moms.
Yeah.
Well, it is that men predominantly win, and of course, only women go through through pregnancy. But I don't know how many of those women were pregnant, and you'd have to go back and do all the research. And she just threw that out there. But my wife totally agreed. She's like, I hadn't been the same. She said, I have not been the same since. That's just all there was to it. Really interesting study on both things here.
Yeah, actionable, or is that in the recycle bin?
No, I'm absolutely taking action on this. Biggie, I want you to check me on this.
Okay.
All right. I can't. Maybe we should just hone in on one. Not living in the past so much. Okay? You know how I do. You know what I do. Today.
But you're also happiest there.
That is where that is.
But when meetings come up and they're talking about future events and how to make things better, that's when you're strongest. That's when the impulse hits you the hardest.
What do I always say? Don't change
anything.
Don't do anything.
It was better last time.